Hello, boils and ghouls. It's that time of the season where we laugh in the face of fear and embrace it, celebrating the darkest parts of our imagination and shed our human insecurities for demonic passion. And this Halloween season, I've brought 3 of my most deliciously disturbing friends to dig deep into my collection of the macabre and find a film that unlocks the monster in us all. To start everything off, we have Coleman B. Rains. So tell me, my creepy friend, what chilling flick have you pulled for us?
Jim Jarmusch's The Dead Don't Die.
Oh! Where did you find that?
It was next to some French movie.
I completely forgot I had that.
Yeah, I had to dig for a while.
Well, it's not exactly what I had in mind for first movie, but if that's the one you chose, that's what we're watching, because you guys get to choose the movies. Oh boy. Welcome to Slaughterhouse Reviews. This is our horror movie review series that we're going to be doing for this Halloween season as we turn from goons into ghouls. Coleman, you and I are here to talk about a movie called The Dead Don't Die, and this was your suggestion. I haven't. My feelings can be summed up with one question: What the fuck? What the fuck is this?
It's a good movie.
It's. I can't say I've seen anything quite like. I'm just gonna right off the hop. Like we're gonna say this is full spoilers. Like there's nothing sacred here. Everything's gonna be every stone is gonna be unturned with all of these episodes. So if you haven't seen The Dead Don't Die, go watch it, then come back, watch this, and maybe we can answer some questions, or you can answer questions that I have. I'm on board with this movie. It started to go weird ways that I knew this was going to be a weird movie. I didn't know it was going to go to the levels of weird that it actually went. I was not ready for what do you think of this movie first off? Okay. I want to get an idea of where you're coming from with this, because I have dozens of pages of mental notes and feelings.
I really like this movie, and I think it is because this is very much my type of humor. And if I was to ever do a comedy movie, this is probably what I would do something similar to.
Now, when you say it like that, suddenly a lot of it makes sense because you have a sense of humor that it's very much like, what is the thing, what is the most socially acceptable, unacceptable thing to say in a moment? Like, what is the weirdest phrase that I can say here that isn't offensive in any single way, but does it make sense in the grand scheme of things? What does this add to the conversation aside from mild confusement? And you think it's funny because that's the whole point, is that everyone's confused. To me, it did feel this had the vibe of like a student film. Mm-hmm. It kind of felt, which is what Jim Jarmusch's films, from what I gather, they all are like that. Like, this is actually, because I did some reading, I decided to do some homework, and this is the only movie of his that's had a wide release.
Oh yeah.
In the United States. Yeah, no, all of them have been like limited runs because he makes movies for about let's say $3 and a pack of cigarettes. Like, that's pretty much the budget of a Jim Jarmusch movie. He's big in the indie scene. He's one of those filmmakers where it's like, I'm not familiar with his work, but I know a lot about the man himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get answers on this movie because I thought I knew what I was getting into, but then I realized, Jim Jarmusch. It kind of felt like he made a parody movie of himself. As I did some reading, I read a Rolling Stone interview that he did for the movie, and essentially he did say, now this was funny because I also read like an ending explained article from Screen Rant.
Okay.
And they were doing all this, like, there's all this, like, political commentary and, you know, dissection of, like, consumerism. And then you read Jim Jarmusch's article, and he's like, yeah, I just want to make a goofy movie about zombies or some shit, you know, I don't really watch fucking zombie movies, but I want to have my friends over and, you know, fucking shoot some zombies or whatever. Like, he just made the movie was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Which also makes a lot of sense. Like, the big element to me, I think, you know, is how Adam Driver's character keeps, like, referencing the fact that they're in a movie, and he even refers to Jim Jarmusch by name.
Yeah.
Saying that he read the script.
Okay. I really like how they break the fourth wall in this movie compared to, say, the Deadpool movies. The Deadpool movies feel very in your face about it, whereas this is very, like, kind of subtle, like, they're just talking sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It feels very natural.
Yeah, it did feel natural, and I think that's where the what the fuckness comes into play, because it feels like, is he insane? Am I going insane? Like, you start to wonder if the whole movie is just a fever dream or a nightmare. Whereas like Deadpool, it's all about, you know, it's like Bugs Bunny looking into the camera and saying, you know, oh, I'm in a real pickle, folks.
Yeah.
That's Three Stooges, but whatever. I do agree. Like, I do like subtle fourth wall breaking like that, like meta stuff. That's why I love in movies. I think it counts, like, when a movie changes aspect ratios very visually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like the bars kind of shrink in, and if it's like thematic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just having flashes to also now I have to talk about Steve Buscemi wearing a I hate black people hat. and
then he talks to what's his name?
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just talk like normal fucking people.
This is very funny.
But he has like the least. He has a somehow less subtle version of a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
And it is, that is what I like about, which is what I read about the movie. Like, Jarmusch said that he originally planned for this to be like a sketch comedy movie where it's just these crazy characters stuck in a zombie apocalypse, and it was just gonna be a bunch of like contained, you know, scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just turned into a narrative. I guess that's just how it flew.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about like the meta stuff. Because he was asked in the interview, like, you know, what is the significance of Adam Driver's character being aware of the fact that he's in a zombie movie? And Jimmy goes, oh, I don't know. You know, well, you know, once you start writing, you know, stuff just flows out, and that's what I wrote. He doesn't know what the fuck why any of this happens in the movie. He just decided, hey, you know what? He knows it. I'm just gonna put my name in here.
It definitely feels like a very
kind of
stream of consciousness movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just flows, and sometimes there's callbacks, but for the most part, it just progresses constantly.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like a first draft.
Yeah.
Which, you know, speaking of, like, when I write a screenplay and, like, you know, especially how I used to, like, before I would even outline, I would just start writing, and then you just keep going and going, and suddenly you realize, oh, I've only written 40 pages, and none of this really connects in any meaningful way. Or, like, there's, like, oh, there's some ideas here, but I kind of just abandoned it. Like, in the sky, I should say, not elephant in the room, Tilda Swinton is an alien.
Yeah.
There's an alien
for literally
movie.
no
like,
reason.
A fucking UFO shows up, and it doesn't even like zap the zombies. It beams her up, and they just fuck off.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, no, we're out of here. Like, sucks for you guys.
But it's so
we're
good
gone.
because Bill Murray's like, is that in the script? And Adam Driver's like, no. I don't know what that is. So it makes perfect sense to why it makes no sense in the movie, because it's not supposed to be in the movie.
So, which leads me to like, are they? Part of my brain's like, are they making a movie right now? And then suddenly a UFO just showed up. It could be like a Monty Python, the Holy Grail, where it turns out they're just a bunch of psychopathic LARPers just butchering people. Yeah. They're not actually in medieval times. Back to aliens. Aliens show up, and it's like it's not a Deus Ex Machina, because the aliens don't even like save the day. It's kind of like an anti Deus Ex Machina. It just shows up and it's like, yeah, we're out of here. Which I guess, like you said, like if it's technically not supposed to be a part of the story within the logic of the movie, like it's supposed to end with a final stand down, that literally just happened.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, that is kind of funny in a way, and I guarantee that was written, knowing what I know about the movie and knowing what I know about the man, that definitely was written at 4:37 in the morning after about a bottle and a half of, I don't know, like a fine Chianti.
Like, well, it's just like they need to do something with Tilda Swinton, and that was the easiest excuse.
Yeah. I mean, she does look like a gray. She looks like an alien. Like what people say the Men in Black, or like the tall grays in the alien community. Like she does look like one of them. So it does. It's like, oh, it only makes sense because it's Tilda Swinton. I like the cast. I think everybody in the movie is doing, you can tell everybody just had a fun time being on set and just making the movie. I love seeing Iggy Pop as a zombie.
It was really good.
I saw that Iggy Pop was gonna pop up. I knew he was gonna make an appearance because his name shows up in the credits. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, Iggy Pop's in this movie? I wonder what he's gonna be. I wonder he's gonna be like the old sheriff or something. No, he's just a fucking zombie the whole time. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. that checks out. I also love seeing Tom Waits. Tom Waits and Iggy Pop. They were both in. They're both big friends with Jarmusch, so they all go back. But I didn't even recognize him as the Hermit until a little bit later, because I saw like the face, like, okay, who's that guy? And then he is walking by and he talked about like it was like one of the monologues about like the ants,
which actually was not originally in the script.
No, it wasn't. Someone also did some reading, it seems. They just found it. Jarmusch's like, oh man, ants. We gotta talk about them. And then Tom Waits comes up and he just goes, where are you guys going? And I'm like, oh, it was Tom Waits. And I do love that scene where like he just fucking straight up shoots at a cop and they just like walk away and he's like, hey, fuck you.
Hey, Clef. Fuck you.
I love that his gun is literally just a board with like a rail on top to shoot. It's not even a real gun.
Yeah, and like whenever it's through his binoculars, it's like shattered glass because they're all like broken. Which at first I thought those were like actual spider webs. Cobwebs within the. But I was like, oh, those are dirty. And I realized, oh, they're just broken. This is the lens, that's spider webbing, but not actual cobwebs. I also like the dust coming out of the zombies.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I did have to giggle. I had a bit of a giggle to myself because I'm like, yeah, because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than
fake blood.
Doing blood. Just dust.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to CG that. You don't have to. It saves you on makeup because you don't have to worry about blood spatters and continuity and the actors getting put in the makeup chair. One gets to say clean because it's just dust. But it also makes sense, like they'd be all dried up. But I like that it's not just like I thought it was like, oh, maybe that's just like the older zombies who like crawled out of the cemetery because it's like classic zombies. They crawl out of the grave and yeah, their blood's crust up. Like, no, if you get bit and you turn into a zombie, your blood just immediately turns into sand. You just become a sand-filled fucking wandering corpse.
That's just what happens when the Earth gets pulled off its axis.
Yeah, oh, yeah, because of fracking.
Polar fracking, to be specific.
Polar fracking, yes, that's the cause of the aliens
Don't have a cause.
The aliens are just there. No, the zombies. That would be silly. Whatever. What a stupid thing to say. No, obviously, the zombie apocalypse was started because government started doing polar fracking, and it threw the Earth off its axis, which leads to, you know, a lot of catastrophic things like, windstorms, floods, heat droughts, and people rising back from the dead.
Yeah.
Simple stuff that happens when the Earth gets thrown off.
But, like, I actually really like that they don't have to go into detail about why it's happening. It's just like, yeah, this is the main cause, except that that's the reason.
and I do like that it's so fucking absurd.
Yeah.
It feels almost like, again, because Jarmusch apparently he also does not like zombie movies.
Mm-hmm.
He hates zombies and isn't really into many zombie movies, so he's basically it basically reads as like this was like a parody movie. Like it's kind of like all of his thoughts and kind of like a fuck you in many ways. Like you have Selena Gomez and Austin Butler, you have the young hot ones, you know, they're gonna be like team up with the cops at the end and his love interest. No, they fucking die.
Yeah, they're just
off
dead.
Screen. They just get fucking eaten, and then their heads get chopped off. So like, yeah, they're not coming back. Like that was the end of Selena Gomez and Austin. That's the last you're gonna see of them.
Did you have a favorite bit or scene?
I do really like anytime they were doing just the zombie horror, like the typical, like the hordes just straddling, or not straddling, god, that's a different movie. Like when they're all rising out of the graveyard and you have the purple moon. Mm-hmm. It kind of looked cool. And I do like the final standoff, even though it literally, I'm gonna say it kind of feels unearned and kind of like what ends on a weird one. I mean, you know, Jim Jarmusch just wanted to have Bill Murray and Adam Driver slaughter zombies while playing rock music and having Tom Waits, you know, give a narration using David Bowie and Lou Reed quotes. And I mean, is that not, like, if you took that scene alone out of context, I mean, that would be a I would be saying, oh, that's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny that, like, the moment Adam Driver and Bill Murray died, that it just cuts to black. There's no resolve. There's no, like, we don't see them as a zombie and the horde run. It's like, no, that's it. Yep. It's like he did that whole ending sequence. Like, that's the whole reason I came here for. So we're done. Like you say, it does have this, like, free flowing. It feels like shit's just kind of happening.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, I think that's something. And Jim Jarmusch, like, he's one of those people where if you don't know anything about him, you will hate all of his movies. Like, if you don't get that, it's like the Wes Anderson movies. Like, if you're not into it, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Like, this feels like if I was a Jim Jarmusch fan, I'd be like, fucking yeah, this feels like it's his, I don't know, his, what would you call it? What's like the big I don't want to say Endgame, but like something like Endgame, like his Avengers Endgame, where it's like the ultimate.
Yeah. It's the culmination of his work or whatever.
Yeah, like he's, like, it's Jarmusch just Jarmusching all over the place. He's just grabbing a hold of his gym and he's Jarmusching it. I mean, I didn't hate it. I hated it at times. I really wanted to hate it, and then it would make me like it. And then it would push me away again. And now that I'm talking everything out loud, I'm like, well, now, and it's one of those things, like, in hindsight, as I'm looking back on it, it's like, yeah, you know what, if it is what it is, and also, like, the one time Rolling Stone magazine has provided useful fucking publication and information, I was able to get a deeper understanding for the movie and kind of giggle at the fact that, yeah, the moments where you're thinking, like, is this a joke? It is. It probably is.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a guy having fun with a genre that he was sick of seeing. He's like, fuck it. Tilda Swinton told me I should make a zombie movie, so I said I'd make a zombie movie, whatever the fuck. That's my Jarmusch impression, by the way. Like, that's me being, like, that's me playing him down. He's not like Hard New York, but he's a lot weirder. It's kind of like a, well, yeah, I just wanted to go and make this weird movie because when I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes with Iggy Pop on the corner of 53rd and 3rd while the cats were driving by on their unicycles. Like, he's that kind of guy. Like, imagine he's like Wes Anderson if he was, like, goth and, like, was a fan of, like, the Beat generation of writers. I think I'm polarizing a lot of our viewership. I don't know if we have any it's not to say that we have idiots for audiences, but I don't know how many people are like, oh fuck yeah man, Kerouac, am I right? Like, oh man, I don't know if that's really the viewership we've amassed, but
maybe
that's the best way I can describe this movie. Maybe we pulled some in.
Maybe after this movie.
Yeah, maybe they see, like, oh, finally, someone talked about the dead don't die. Finally, I have someone in the world. Because this movie, it made, like, $15 million, and I guarantee it cost a little bit more than that. Although, I don't know. I think it would have to cost only a bit more because of the cast.
Yeah, I would think the cast is just the whole thing. Because, like, the sets and where they were was not a lot.
No, it was, like, real real areas. There was no splatter, like there was no like gore.
No,
really, it was all just dust. And even the cast, like I mean, just to mention the names, like I don't know if we went over them, but like, Bill Murray and Adam Driver, who was at the height of his Star Wars fame. Countless others. Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover, the creepy white kid from Get Out.
The UPS driver guy.
Oh yeah, RZA.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Wu-Tang Clan, which is the great thing, along with Iggy Pop and Tom Waits. That's the thing with Jarmusch, he's like big in the music scene as well. So he just has all of these like New York-based fucking musicians. They all just know him, and they've all will just do things for him. And that's what I mean. Like, you look at the cast, all the names. These also could be people who, if Jim Jarmusch asked them, like, hey, you want to make a movie with me? All I can feed you is, like, 3 ham sandwiches on Wonder Bread. They would all say yes.
Yeah, because they're all
like,
friends.
I definitely guarantee, I guarantee, like, they all would work for nothing. Probably SAG-AFTRA, like, minimum, like, Screen Actors Guild minimum, that's, like, $60,000. At least it used to be. I don't know if it's still that. But, they probably just took a minimum just to help the budget and, just to be a part of this weird little Jarmusch zombie movie. It kind of reminds me of the kind of movies that me and my friend used to make when we were, like, 12. Like, we would make superhero movies, and it would be shot in his backyard and in his parents' house. That's what this kind of felt like. It kind of felt like watching one of those movies, but, the grown-up version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. More talking about it, I'm starting to. I think I might actually recommend it to a lot of people. I don't recommend that you see it sober.
Huh.
I think if you got them, smoke them, or knock them back. Get ripped on some kind of substance, and then watch this movie. Preferably, I think, with people. I think if we'd watched it, I would love to watch it again with you, like, in person. And I'd follow my own advice. And then knowing what I know now and reflecting on it, like, we gotta show this to the other two.
Yeah.
And not say anything. We'll just say, yeah, man, this is wild fucking thing. Gotta say nothing.
I think it's really good if you listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's all just people talking to each other. It's all about small town folk. Just trying to deal like, oh, fucking, there's something going on.
Yeah, but, like, that's where all the comedy is. That's, like, it's not a lot of visual. It's all just how it's delivered.
It's all characters. Yeah, which, I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, that's what Jarmusch does. He's all about characters, which I thought it was interesting that he was going to make a zombie movie. Seeing it, I now like, oh, okay, well, that makes more sense. But yeah, he wanted to make a movie that was just about a bunch of weird people in a zombie apocalypse, so that's what he went and did, and, I mean, fuck, I mean, I can't get angry at the guy. I mean, you got to make exactly the movie that he wanted to make. I guarantee there were no producer notes on this one.
Probably not.
I guarantee. Like, I don't think anybody said, there's gotta be, you gotta play the theme song more. I don't think anybody had that note. It was a song that I was like, oh, I might download when it opened up, and then by the end of it, I'm like, if I hear that song again, I think I might bite somebody, and I don't have to be a zombie to do it. I might just start ripping flesh with my teeth.
I watched this last weekend, right, in preparation for this, and then I came home the next day from work, and my mom was playing the theme song throughout the house. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that'd be fucking weird. Like suddenly you're locked in the movie or in the sequel. Maybe that's why it's getting so crazy out there.
Yeah, there is soft taxes.
Oh, man. Well, we solved the mystery to world peace.
Yeah.
The answer is the world is fucked, and it's all gonna end soon. So, with that spare time you have, watch The Dead Don't Die. Honestly, I would recommend it. I think it's a good party movie. Don't watch it on your own, unless you're a big Jarmusch fan. And even then, like, find another Jarmusch fan and watch with it so you can Jarmusch all over each other. Or subject your unsuspecting friends to it, which is what we plan on doing with this movie, because I'm gonna tell them, do not listen to this fucking review. And then one day we're just gonna spring it on them. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think our friendship will get stronger for it. This movie brings friendships closer together.
Hopefully.
Was that in the script? No.
Well, Coleman B. Rains, I'm gonna snap into character to wish you off. Thank you for coming to my basement and treating me with this, challenging little hors d'oeuvre. So I wish you happy hunting, and I wish you all a very creepy good night. And be ready, because Halloween's just starting, and so are we.